Optimization is the agent that lets you track all your pages, observe trends, see how they evolve, and above all, improve them automatically to boost your SEO. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with this agent very simply. There are two ways to use it. The first is via the Optimize Pages tab, which offers you its priority recommendations. In concrete terms, the agent starts by analyzing all your pages to determine which ones deserve to be optimized as a priority. To do this, it relies on your rankings, your traffic, and your impressions. One important detail, this analysis is based only on pages known to Google, meaning those present in your Google Search Console. So if some pages don't appear, it's simply because they haven't been crawled by Google yet. Once this initial sorting is done, the agent moves on to a much more in-depth analysis in batches of 25, which you can change. Each in-depth analysis consumes one audit, but don't worry, it's performed on pages already ranked by priority, so you never waste credits unnecessarily. You'll also be able to identify performance drops, spot opportunities to seize and access a whole range of useful metrics. You can also filter results by several criteria, by position, by keyword, by page type, or hide pages that are already optimized. You can also filter by action type, for example, performance drops, indexing issues, quick wins, or even long-term opportunities. So we have the list of pages along with their current status. Let's take a concrete example. Let's choose a product. We click on details to examine it more closely. And so for each page, the agent will analyze the best ranked competitor pages for the main keyword. And the goal is to understand what needs to be implemented to compete with Google's top results. Then, in simple terms, it explains exactly what to do, whether it's to seize an opportunity, get back on track after a performance drop, or anything else. For each SEO pillar, content, backlinks, and technical, it gives you its observations and offers an action button so an agent can handle it directly. For example, if it recommends optimizing the product content, in other words, the text, a single click is all it takes, and it handles it. If it recommends strengthening the page's authority, meaning getting more backlinks, here again, a button allows one of the agents to take action. In short, for every problem detected, a solution is proposed. So let's go. Let's start the optimization for this product. So we wait. The analysis is underway. So the first step is for the agent to import the page from your site, meaning the title, the description, and the content. The page must therefore already have some basic content because this agent's role isn't to invent but to optimize what already exists. Next, it analyzes your Google Search Console to identify the keywords Google already values you for. This step is essential because you're gonna have to choose the right keyword. And here, it's a matter of common sense. You have to ask yourself what your potential customer would type into Google to buy your product. Don't hesitate to do the test yourself. Type a few keywords into Google, look at the results provided, and check if it's consistent with your offer. You can also define your own keyword if the suggestions don't seem relevant enough to you. So once the choice is confirmed, so I'm gonna choose, for example, that one. It's the keyword I have the most impressions on. So once the choice is confirmed, this will be the keyword the agent focuses its efforts on to strengthen your ranking. The optimization can then begin. So we wait. Optimizing a page takes place in two steps, or three in the case of a blog post, because an extra step dedicated to subject knowledge is added. The first step is choosing the prompts. You must check the selection and uncheck any off topic terms, and check those that are truly relevant. The agent performs an automatic pre selection, but it can make mistakes. So it's important to take the time to check to avoid it telling us inaccurate things. And especially so we don't have to redo the content once it's generated. Next comes the second step, defining the instructions. It's optional, but recommended. You can describe precisely what you expect in terms of content. A few useful details at this stage. First, don't forget that you can define a brand context, give examples, and specify a writing style. Next, you also have the option to configure meta fields or custom fields directly from your site's configuration page on Sedestro. And now, let's start the optimization. The agent is now at work. You can safely leave this page, do something else, or even start optimizing several pages in parallel. Allow about 3 to 5 minutes per page. And there you go, the optimization is complete. Here is our optimized product. By clicking on improvements, you'll find all the changes made by the agent. For example, for this product sheet, here is the initial diagnosis. The agent identified the strengths to keep and the weaknesses to correct. So, for example, the title and meta description lack targeted keywords for SEO. If we go into the changes made and click on the title, well, it explains that it changed the title, it explains why it modified the title. There. For each modification, it justifies itself so you can understand why it made all these changes, why it inserted all these keywords, and so on. You can review the product sheet and modify it if needed. A little tip, by the way, if you want to adjust the passage, simply select the relevant text and ask the agent to rework it for you. It's really a real time saver. Once everything looks good to you, just click on Update and then the changes will be automatically applied to your site. An important note though, Setastrol doesn't support all types of pages. Product pages and product categories, that's perfect. Existing blog posts too, except on PrestaShop if you use a different module than ours. As for CMS pages like the homepage for example, they are supported except in cases of particularly complex design. To view the updated product, simply click on the three little dots, then Open. And good news, you also have a version history that allows you at any time to return to a previous version or to the original version. Now, let's go back to the latest optimizations. Here, you'll find all the recently optimized pages. You can also apply filters and track progress in real time. If you've launched several optimizations in parallel. And if you have a very specific idea in mind, you can also use the options to import from your site or import from a URL. This allows you to directly select the pages you want to optimize without waiting for the agent's recommendations.